So I'm sitting here in the dark, and just about the darkest place that I know of around. Last week in Wellspring, the study was on Philippians chapter 2, where it talked about us shining. When do we shine the most? We'll shine the most when we find ourselves in darkness. We shine the most when we respond to that darkness, specifically as God has called us to, doing what He's called us to. So what darkness do you face in your life? And how do you respond to that darkness? This week in Wellspring, we're considering one of the ways that God tells us to respond and one of the ways that He tells us to shine as we're dealing with the idea of humility. I was talking to someone recently, we were talking about the idea of pride. Him not growing up in a Christian culture at all, he looked at pride as a positive thing, taking pride in oneself. And I was describing it as a negative thing, and this really took him back. I looked up the modern, current definition of pride, and it's viewed as a positive thing. They even used an example of taking pride in one of the popular sins of the day as if it were a positive thing. When I looked back at an older dictionary, it was viewed as a very negative thing, where you have an inappropriately high view of yourself. It is viewed as a dark thing. Well, one of the examples of pride that you will face, and we're looking at pride as the opposite of humility, is the ways that you treat your elders, the ways that we respond to authority. Now, growing up in the 1980s, every other movie was about rejecting authority and taking authority for yourself. Well, in this week, as we look at 1 Peter 5, one of the examples of the ways that we shine is by being subject to the authorities God has put in place. Now, what authorities has God put in your life? Some of us, and when we were talking to the students and the players, it's going to be their parents. That's an authority that has been put into place. It's going to be the coaches. Coaches are an authority that are in place. It's going to be the referees. So talk to your players. Have them look at the authorities that God has put into place. Have them examine and see what kinds of darkness are present or will be present when they're playing. And give them the opportunity to unpack and to discover in what ways they can shine in the midst of darkness. Darkness is an opportunity. It's our opportunity to shine the light of Christ, demonstrating what He has done. Now, when I watch a game and I don't like what the ref's doing, especially when it seems as if someone I care about is being treated unfairly, there's an anger that rises up in me at the face of injustice. And this past week, as I watched the game, and I was unhappy with the way people I care about, again, were being treated. And I thought, it's a good thing I'm not out there, because I was afraid of the ways that I might respond. But for that, I'm going to point you, and we can point the players, to Romans 12:21. Don't be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good. And specifically, this is going to be in the ways that we respond to authority, even when it's not fair. In 1 Peter 5, the statement is made, cast all of your anxiety on Him, because it's really an anxiety that makes us want to respond in dark ways. We think that this isn't going to be answered unless I answer it. The injustice won't be solved unless I solve it. But the statement is completed. Cast all of your anxiety on Him because He cares for you. So we have the opportunity to be humble, even when things are unfair in our eyes, remembering that the authorities that are in place, God has put them there, and He will answer, and He will take vengeance when vengeance is necessary. So be humble. Submit to the authorities God has put in place. Respond to the darkness around you with light, never repaying evil for evil, because it's our opportunity to shine the brightest when it's the darkest. God bless you.